Good evening, everybody. Apologies for such a long delay, but my name is Eoin Harmon, and I will be gladly able to guide you through the last 35 minutes or so of Formula Sprint 1 free practice as part of the pre-season build-up. So yeah, we're at the Valencia street circuit. Beautiful day outside, so plenty of work to be done with the remaining time that we've got. Yeah. And it's great to have you around if you have decided to hang on for all that hard work in the background. Hi Go Poom has stepped in to help out with the camera work. It took an awful long time to fix the problems that we're having. So yeah, again, my sincere apologies for keeping you waiting. But in case you do recognize my name or my voice, I used to run the Super League Twitter updates for the last 3 years, but I've now moved into a commentary role, and I'll be looking forward to the Thursdays in Formula Sprint 1. So yeah, you can see at the moment, got a few cars running at the moment. Blank livery there for someone. I'll have to get a list of names up eventually. Yeah, so there we go. We have our leaderboard up. So Jan Dragoon has set the best time of the current drivers active at 1 minute 43.85. That is pretty good going. But yeah, as we have drivers coming in and out of the session, so it'll be tricky just to make sure we have everything in order now that we're fully running. So into the garage there. That's Jan. Just going to see otherwise now someone else comes out. Following along here, Vincent Gutt there puts in a good time. Well, no pun intended there. Very respectable time to go second for the Spark team. So yeah, handy enough there. So now this is another going here for Mike Quint for Malta Force. Yeah, should be able to clear out soon enough. Yeah. Yeah, see. Now we move on to Jack Mayer for Top Esports, a name I will be familiar with from my time covering the Super League. Nice onboard shot here of the FS2 champion getting a chance at promotion here in FS1. So yeah, we'll see how Jack manages with his new team. Yeah, Top Esports will be one of the newcomers to the series. We'll hopefully get a rundown of the various classifications in the championship that we're looking forward to in the coming weeks. So yeah, Jack will certainly be keen to get results quickly and efficiently to make sure he is making use of his prestige. He's celebrating on his helmet there. He's currently 9th in the session there. having another second or so to find to get on top of the leaderboards. Now we take a look at Menno Clant, one of our most beloved names in all of GPVWC, that's for sure. He's also driving for Multiforce. He has 1.7 seconds to find, currently on an outlap. So now onboard cameras taking us along with TCS Off Racing's Maxime Beaulieu. See if there's any time to be found here. Just got to be mindful of that barrier on the inside before the bridge. That could have been tricky enough. Yeah, seems to have managed it A-okay. Now the final sector coming up on this lap for Beaulieu. Tricky chicane there. Yeah, we're just cycling through the various drivers at the moment, so hopefully if your favourite appears, they'll get their time to shine. This is one of the other Spark Racing drivers, Magnus Aukenhag. Let's see. Yeah, the fetching blue and orange. Oh, brilliant. Well, Magnus has pretty much leathered it into the wall there. Must have been a loss of connection or concentration. I'll have to figure out exactly what happened there. Very unusual incident. Certainly one that I hope isn't replicated anywhere else on the circuit. Valkenhoff there is back in the garage. Yeah, more pounding of the laps here for Jan Dragoon, hoping to find that 0.6 of a second necessary to overtake Shimon Frelich on the top there. Yeah, the Rowan GP livery is still pretty much work in progress, so I'm looking forward to seeing the finalised product there for that team. There's Mike's down there.
Hello, Eoin.
Well, hello there, how are you getting on?
Good, thanks. Good to meet you.
And likewise,
My name's Ed, by the way, for those who don't know. I help with the Academy commentary. And it's good that I mentioned the Academy because we'll get the next Academy race right here at Valencia Street Circuit in about 6 days' time, I believe, on the 20th.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah. I watched back the Academy at Istanbul. That was really good.
Yeah, I had a horribly blocked nose then, so which I did my best to hide, I think. Occasionally I noticed that I did a 8-hour race for, was it? I think it was the E-Racing Series, Sebring. I did about 8 hours of that 12-hour race, and I was constantly having to mute it while someone else was talking, as we see a yellow flag at Sector 1. And that clears quite quickly, so... of course, this is just a test. I say just a test session, but for some of these guys, we see Frelick on a purple first sector here for top esports. Yeah, slightly slower in the middle sector, but not by much. So this could be another session-topping time here then, Eoin. Nope, he's going into the pit lane.
He's going to abandon, unfortunately, there, Ed. But yeah, hopefully the chat are more than happy to hear from you in the broadcast. As I don't know if you noticed what was happening with Hygo and all. It was just a real struggle to get things going with the broadcast system. So yeah, we had to wait nearly an hour to get sorted. So it's just really unfortunate.
But can't be helped sometimes. And everyone's done a great job to get things going in the end. And the drivers, of course, it's not affected them too much. They just have to get the laps in. And you never know, all this practice could come in handy come the... for the ones that are doing the Academy race. I think Fuentes, I know, is an Academy driver. I'm trying to think if I recognise anyone else from Istanbul. Rozak, I think, as well. So some of the midfield, Vakanov, of course. It's all coming back to me now.
Yes.
But yeah, certainly Frelick, half a second faster than anyone else at the moment in FS1 for Formula Sprint 1, which is, of course, as you well know, the top category is Jack Mayer. Just pumps in a lap just under 3/10 slower than Frelick, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, Jack is celebrating his title win from last season on his helmet, so yeah, he needs to get the results in where he can now that he's got the promotion in the bag. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on.
Yeah, it's interesting with the tiered series structure where you see drivers getting promoted and shuffled around. Is there sort of like a threat of, as we see Fuentes really cut the inside at the first corner over the curve, as we see Rozak also trying to warm up the tyres too. Do you think there's a sort of promotion relegation thing going on where drivers they're so eager to impress in the smaller series? Well, I say smaller series like Academy. You wouldn't know it by the way they race there, but but do you think there's a sense of you get some drivers really, really trying to impress to get their chance on the big stage in FS1 rather than FS2, and of course for the other series as well that we have? So, for instance, we've got what are the other ones I'm thinking of? Obviously, there's Formula Sprint, and then there's the longer one. Isn't it Super Light or Super League?
The Super League's the tippy top series.
Yes, exactly. So, which of course much longer distance races. So do you find that there's sort of the sprint champions that tend to do really well in the sprints, and then maybe they're really good in qualifying, but they sort of tend to fade away a little bit over the longer distances? Or do you think that it's the same people that are quick in the Formula Sprint as in the Super League?
Yeah, it's a great question. There are definitely a few cases where the drivers, they just absolutely sail through the pyramid system and they get into Super League and make a name for themselves. There was the case, certainly it was 2021, we had the Edge Esports, their lad was absolutely incredible for a time. I'd have to remember his name.
Yeah, Belgian team Edge Esports, because they also compete in Formula Sim Racing in the World Championship. Last season they had Lauren Kiersmakers and Jake Denahan, I think, driving for them. Didn't do particularly well, but Jake Denahan has been doing extremely well just lately. In FSI, they did a Preseason championship that I think he won, beating the likes of Michi Hoyer and all sorts of other really, really top drivers there. So even though it was a slightly reduced field admittedly because it was Preseason rather than the full championship, but certainly AG Sports have got some great talent on the books, and of course, big links with the likes of Netrex as well. Oh,
Yeah, it was Colin
it's Vincent
Spork.
Vincent Gutt just going and in the golf liveried Spark Racing Team number 79, just going right near the wall and over the curb there at the sort of fast sector 3 section, of course. And reminding myself how this track goes now, because I've not seen it on the Formula 1 calendar since it got abandoned about 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was one I remembered on the Sony PSP. It was one of the better tracks on F1 09, but that was about it, really. Not very memorable otherwise. But yeah, it was Colin Spork I was thinking about. He just absolutely sailed through.
He did, yeah, and then he won, of course, the FSR World Championship last season in a dramatic final race shootout with Alex Siebel from Red Bull Esports, of course, which used to be Evolution Esports, I think, until they partnered up with Red Bull. And Siebel actually, I think, led slightly going into that final race in Brazil, and Spork just absolutely aced it. Had a great battle with I can't remember his name, Matthew something or other. It was a Royal Blue driver. He's going to kill me for forgetting his name now. That's how he hop in a broadcast. When someone's like, I'm a bit lonely, just hop in. He's like, okay, I've got a finger things to say now. But I'm sure if I look in... Matthew Williams, that's it, Matthew Williams.
Yes.
It's been a long while since the last highlights I did for the World Championship, because it was the end of August last year, I think. But anyway, so Matthew Williams, very impressive, and had a great battle in Interlagos with Colin Spork, but Spork emerged narrowly victorious, and I think Siebel qualified really badly in like 11th or 12th, climbed up to 3rd by the end, but it wasn't quite enough to keep Colin Spork behind. So and Spork now drives, of course, for Race Clutch, the French team that I believe has a partnership with Alpine, the Alpine sort of esports academy. So Spork definitely a man making moves in the world of sim racing, and he certainly built up a pretty loyal fan base surrounding him as well. I've noticed that was always cheering him on. A lot of it's Netrex guys as well. As Vincent Gutt decides.
Vincent's probably just trying to get back to the pits. Yeah.
Well, I don't think he was trying to get back to the pits, though. I think he just... I'm not going to steer into this one.
Yeah, I think that was not for the first time either. He must have just let go of the steering wheel or whatever.
Well, I guess if you're not continuing on, it doesn't really matter as long as you don't create a big mess behind you. And there's a bunch of guys getting out of the pits, including is that Mirko Lucchini?
Yeah, Lucchini.
Yeah, lovely livery there on the Alpha Delta racing car, the 66. Or is it says number 8 on it, but it's actually 66, I think.
Yeah, it could be the case where the team, they have the 2 drivers, but just one livery is prepared or something like that.
Oh, well, it's got the Discord logo on it, which is appropriate given how I've gone on here. Yellow in the 3rd sector, it looks like. And that's cleared, so I guess another driver just decided not to finish the lap there. But, let's see how long we got. In about 21 minutes left of this session then. And it looks like the field spread down to 18th. Russo, I think, has got the slowest time at the moment, unless there's a few more that don't fit on the timing tower. That's nearly 3 second spread throughout the field. Do you think that would be that sort of normal at FS1 level?
No, when I was watching FS1, just from time to time, they were fairly closely bunched. There was about 5 or 6 drivers you could believe as race winners. Certainly last season, looking at the championship, there was a good spread of different winners until Tom Stevens had a fantastic segment in the middle of the campaign, the Hungary double, and then at Spa as well, I got the win there. I think it shouldn't be that significant come the season itself. There are a bunch of teams that have the experience and others that are going to be taking part in FS1 for the first time. So no, I wouldn't believe this is a solid evidence of a uneven field. But it could be proven wrong.
Yeah, a couple of these guys are still learning the ropes, as it were, in academy, of course. So they might be a little bit more spread out than normal, of course. With, like I said, a couple of people just getting some prep in ahead of. It would be next Monday, wouldn't it? I think if it's 6 days from now for the academy.
Yeah, Academy should be within the week.
Yeah, 20th. It should be Monday. But anyway, we just see Vincent Gut set a really good time there, about half a second off the pace in 4th. I think Clont also got up the timing screen quite recently. He set a lap just slightly slower than that as well. 10th slower, to be precise. Because Licini is carrying on his way as we switch to... Oh, who is this? Is this also Licini?
Yeah, Licini's driving Jack Mayer's livery and helmet, I think.
Okay, he just wants to feel reflected glory, I guess, at Alpha Delta Racing. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Tom Stevens, another driver that's sort of, oh, there we go. Licini hangs the rear out just as he goes over the bridge. That's such a tricky section, actually, because if you get your entry wrong, it can really compromise your line there. But anyway, Tom Stevens, another man really making moves in the world of sim racing. I think he's another guy who's made his bow in the World Championship in Formula Sim Racing with a Super Venturi, I believe. Oh, once again, this is Mayer, actually. This is Mayer, I think. Just a step in the rear out. So I think the graphic was slightly frozen for us. In fact, there we go. There's confirmation then. So delivery was absolutely correct. This is just Jack Mayer just really getting as early on the throttle as he possibly can, which often is an effective technique around street circuits like Valencia.
Yeah, like obviously you don't want to get too close to bears. This segment of track, I never enjoyed it. The top drivers, obviously, they'll do whatever. They'll beat whatever's in front of them. So yeah,
including bumping off the wall there, just in the penultimate corner.
Yeah, you just don't want to get any closer to the wall than that, to be honest. Mayer's continuing to chip away at Frelic's best time there. Yeah, that's a blatant cut. It looked like he missed the apex, or probably 2 wheels on the runoff there.
Certainly not the first to do that. I doubt he'll be the last either. As we go into 13 minutes remaining. Yellow in the 3rd sector, but that won't trouble Jack Mayer too much because it's a private session, I believe. Oh no, it isn't. There's someone going off. And instantly proven wrong there. Of course it isn't a private session. That's a stupid thing to say. And another driver I'm familiar with, Frank Hamming in the 73. 9th at the moment, just over a second off the pace behind Virginia. Looks like he's in the garage at the moment, but Hamming I've seen drive in FSR Academy for Valet, I believe, so another name that I'm familiar with. Was it? No, I think he's also done the Pro Series as well for FSR. So we look at Mike Quint from Multiforce GP, a stalwart of the GPVWC Championships. Didn't Multiforce GP do really well a couple of seasons ago? I don't remember because I've not been following too closely.
They might have done, but last season they were 6th. So we'll check. Yeah, P6, 210 points. Yeah, that was probably half of what the 3rd place team, HGP Motorsport, got. So yeah, they need to figure out how they're gonna claw their way back up the standings. Try and find the 2021 standings as well. It should be in my browser history here.
But anyway, Mike Quint doing his best to set a decent time on the board. Currently 7th, of course, in the field as we go to Dragoon. Jan Dragoon, of course, for Rowan GP in the lovely midnight blue livery. It's going to look very nice if there are any night races in the season, but it still looks very dashing and distinctive in the Spanish sunshine.
Indeed. So Multiforce, when it was still called the Super Cup, they were 5th. So a little bit backwards compared to 2 years ago. So
they're a bit of a midfield team looking to make a break for it. But certainly, even if all gone.
Yeah, there was a fantastic resource from Vincent Gut. He catalogued the stats for each of the series, and Multiforce have entered 359 GPVWC Super Cup.
So this isn't their 1st rodeo then.
Yeah, they're veterans of the category. Just need to.
I did think I'd seen them around before.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, here's Dragoon. Is it Dragoon or Dragoon? Or Dragoon?
I've always heard Dragoon.
Dragoon, okay, I'll keep calling him
Yeah,
that.
there should be the pronunciations guide.
And here we go, he gets a little bit distracted. That's the problem with someone coming out the pits lane of exactly as you're doing your lap. It can be very, very distracting because the pit lane's on the inside here.
Yeah, and you want to be cutting that inside before you get on the outside again for the first right-hander. So yeah, it is a big distraction. You need to have someone in your ear just saying car exiting pit lane. Yeah,
The thing I do love about FS1 compared to Academy when I commented on that is with Academy they've all got default liveries, so it's really hard to tell who is actually who. Whereas here they've actually at least got unique team liveries as Fuentes in the EP Lab sim racing car. Completes another lap trying to climb from 15th place in the table. So, yeah, really to see the best of Juan Fuentes, but he certainly had a fairly clean run so far, no big incidents to speak of.
Yeah, keeping it solid. Yeah, another car was taken back to the pits there. Yeah, Fuentes will have about 6 tenths per second if he wants to gain on Miram for position there. And speaking of Miram, here he is on board, registering another time. So plenty of groundwork here. Fuentes has done 68 laps, Miram 66. So
yeah, is anyone using the harder tyres going for sort of simulation runs? Or are they all going for quali runs as Miram tag bounces off the wall like it's a game of pinball?
yeah, I think most are just doing qualifying sims. No need to.
I guess qualifying is going to be the deciding factor in races here in terms of getting track position and holding on to it then. It's a nice helmet on top of Frelick. Well, I mean, obviously it protects his virtual head, as it were, but also it's nicely decorated, is what I'm trying to build up to. Very catching.
Yeah, it must be one of those postmodern. I'm not.
Yeah, it's very.
Up on all my art terms, but yeah, it has to be in the postmodern.
Looks like he borrowed it from either Daniel Ricciardo or Dan Tickton or something like that.
Yes,
both prefer those sorts of, pastel-y kind of, or pastel and stripy sort of colours all mashed together in a kind of kaleidoscope. As Russo sets a time faster than Fuentes, so far from gaining ground, Fuentes actually lost it. Although he's still ahead of Marino, who actually had a pretty solid couple of races in Istanbul. I believe he was in the top 10 in at least one or two of them. I can't remember where Marino finished off the top of my head, but I remember he was fighting for some of the top positions as Frelick just inches over the curb and nearly breaks track limits. That must be turn 10 or 11, I think he was just going through there. And completely steps out, and he has to completely overcorrect, and off comes the front wing. So that was a bit dramatic, isn't it? That tells you about how he set that car up, isn't it? It's very loose at the rear under braking.
Yeah. Yeah, I must have realised I'm just going to put the pedal down and get going. Newcomer to the session with the final 7 minutes. It's Kevin Voice for Santen. I believe hopefully gets a few laps in before time expires.
Yeah, as Dragoon completely cuts the first corner. There's Voice, just getting out on track, and he's certainly better late than never, as they say. So certainly needs to be taking less wide lines than that through the hairpin if he wants to get a decent time. But this is only the outlap, trying to prepare the tyres, of course. And lovely detail on that shark fin as well. Looks like a very loving. He spent all this time decorating the livery. There's almost no time left to get on track in practice.
Yeah. We'll see now that they.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a wobble and a half there behind Voice's mirrors. Didn't catch you.
That was one of the Malta GP cars, wasn't it?
Yeah, made sense. Yeah.
Sort of bright white livery Voice has struggling to turn in, and that's the problem when you turn up late for a session. You're really having to learn everything in a very compressed period of time. And I have a feeling this is probably not one of Voice's favourite tracks either.
Yeah, just hopefully the setup can be tweaked. Just far too much imbalance there.
Unstable, yeah.
Yeah, understeer on entry and then the exit oversteer.
Whoa! Oh. Almost proving the point there, isn't he? But easy to do, of course. When you don't have the confidence, you don't know when exactly you can get away with accelerating on the curb as well without the car just biting around on you like that.
Yes, this will be a discarded lap time. Unfortunately, it won't be any representation necessary here, so try again.
Well, even though it's a test session, the drivers have done their level best to put on a show here. Here comes Frank Hamming, HGP Motorsport, in another that dark black livery. There's a lot of dark liveries on the grid. It's very interesting. It's really kind of they're hard to ignore, aren't they? Because they tend to be black livery with the team name in white on the side pod. As Hamming looks like he's just about to finish this lap and start another one. Let's see if he can get a little bit further into the top 10. Frank Hamming, I believe, from the Netherlands, or is he from Germany? It's one of the two, I can't remember.
Hamming is Dutch, yeah.
Dutch, there we go, yeah. My first instinct was correct.
Yeah, all Dutch team there, HGP. Wopke Hoekstra is the other driver there.
Anyway, through the first sector he goes, and this looks very tidy so far. Very, very close to the wall as well. So Hamming, this is really his one of his last attempts, I think, at a flying lap. He's only got 5 minutes left. Yellow's in the third sector being thrown, and the red nearly steps out, so a little bit of wheel spin means some time will ebb away there, but Hamming kept it under control. The car pulls off to the inside there, out of the way, so that won't delay him too much. Might just be a little bit off-putting.
Yeah, as long as nothing is proving a distraction here in the hard braking zone.
That could be track limits. That was very, very close there. Yeah, you don't want to really be on the blue part of the tarmac because that's on the inside of the curb. If I remember correctly, Valencia, I think a couple of street circuits did this where they would colour the walls. Singapore definitely did this, where they would colour the walls different colours so that you could tell which sector you were in. So like first sector would be green, sector 2 would be yellow, third sector would be red. It's all just blue here at Valencia. And that's definitely broken track limits if you hadn't already. So Hamming will have to collect himself up and regroup. There's the Butler Motorsport car of Emmanuel Deliria. Is it Deliria or Deliria? And a bright blue car with bright blue walls either side. So Butler Motorsport, clearly you've got a favourite colour here, and they've painted the car completely in it.
I'd say Delera, Emanuele Delera, my guess.
Yeah, but anyway, Delera doing a pretty solid job in 12th, just ahead of Bobby Vakinov, another Academy driver. Vakinov, I think, got onto the podium, got second place at the reverse grid race at Istanbul. Put in a very impressive drive, actually, did Vakinov. 2 minutes left in the session, then, Eoin. So, certainly...
better get out on track or already be on the out lap, or else you're...
Yeah, but Frelick, I believe, has improved his time since I last checked to 1:43.072, so... It's now Dragoon that's second from Jack Mayer. So Dragoon has had a very, very impressive test so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, Dragoon will be plenty satisfied with this outing. Yeah, getting in and amongst the elite here today. So yeah, very well done.
But anyway, here comes Russo then. Desperately trying to get into the top 15. He's only 0.1 behind Juan Fuentes. To the line comes Federico Russo. I don't think he's up on his previous lap, so this is going to be the last attempt for him in that Alpha Delta racing car.
Yeah, getting on board camera shot now. We'll see. There should be a full beans commitment here. Yeah, showing those outside curbs. Who's boss? That's nice.
Yeah, on a street circuit, it's very important to get a car that you set up that you feel comfortable with. You can ride the curbs without fear, unless of course it rains. In which case, you're probably going to want to raise the ride height ever so slightly and put some wet tires on. As Lucchini goes their 5th fastest. That's a very solid lap.
Yeah, full respect there. Nice job. Federico should be inspired by the actions of his teammate there. See if he can get anything close to that.
I'll have to see. Looks pretty solid so far. Yellow in the final sector though. And Russo actually wasn't travelling quite as far over the curb, so clearly keeping it safe. Cuts to the inside to shorten his distance around the fast, flat-out left-hander. Into the hairpin he goes. Right to the inside there. Has a little bit of moment on exit, but collects it very quickly. And now through the fast, never-ending right-hander, it feels like. It takes an age to get through there, it feels. Only a couple of corners to go. Into that crucial final braking zone. Into the hairpin. And the time about to run out, so Russo might actually get another lap in here. And indeed he will do so. But he's not improved from 16th position. And I think he's slowing down to end the session then. So Meyer, reigning champion then, is going to end in no better than 3rd position.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Meyer has in store for the campaign, knowing he had a team ownership experience in Super League alongside Josh Downard. So he's giving it a go as a driver now with the FS2 title in the pocket. Yeah, we'll see now.
And that's very deep from Quint. Yeah. And we see on the halo the words in memory of Ninu, who I believe was a very key member of Multiforce GP. Sadly no longer with us, but Mike Quint really pushing on this final run and pushing a little bit too hard into the hairpin, but he'll still finish the lap. I don't think he's going to be able to improve from 8th position though. As I think that was Miram just getting ahead of Russo there at the end there of his final effort. So that's it then. So Eoin, do you want to take us through the final timings, or shall we just end the broadcast? There we go.
Now we can have the timings. Yeah, this should be no problem at all. So yeah, Shimon Frelich completes the test session as the leader at a 1 minute 43.072. That's 3.5 tenths better off than Jan Dragoon for Rowan GP. Jack Mayer there, P3, not too far away from Dragoon there. And then the top 10 from 4th down, it's Vincent Gut, Mirko Lucchini, Menno Klont. Oh, there they go. I have the other screen though. Luca Furia, Mike Quint, Patrick Rozak, Frank Hamming, 1st to 9th there. Or 1st to 10th, yeah. And completing the
showing multiple positions.
Yeah, multiple sessions. Yeah, so that's true. The next set of times are Maxime Beaulieu, Emanuele Delera, Bobby Volkanov, Perseus Miram, Juanma Fuentes, Federico Russo, Federico Marino. I think they're swapping around there.
A couple lap times being deleted for track limits.
Yeah, deleted times, yeah. And then we have Alpha Delta's Flow, so probably just a test name there. And then Kevin Voice didn't get enough time to really prove what he's capable of today. So yeah, I'd really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining in on short notice.
Well, you'll be hearing from me again for Academy here in 6 days' time on Monday the 20th. So I look forward to you all to getting to commentate here at Valencia once more.
Yeah, perfect preparation. So. Yeah, so
at least I know which way the track goes now.
Yes, yeah, it's easier to make sense of it once you see it again. Yeah, so that's about all the time we have for this evening. It's a shame. Again, I sincerely apologize for the hours delay that prevented us from getting to see more of the preparations. But yeah, thank you so much for the behind the scenes work for Hygo Poom. It was very helpful. Maritz Kropp also stood in, and a bit of double duty for Menno as well. He had to give us some advice as well. So yeah, that's all we have time for then. Thank you very much for your viewing of the broadcast, and we'll see you again for the Academy on Monday. So yeah, from myself, Eoin Harmon, it's goodbye.
Bye.
Attention.